What's up, y'all? It's your girl Michaela Tierra, and we are back with another video. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have been rocking with your girl this far, welcome back. For today's video, we're gonna get back into some hygiene videos. And for today's video, I'm gonna talk about 5 things that I refuse to ever do again as a seasoned dental hygienist. Little disclaimer, some of these things I have went through personally and some I have not. It's just through word of mouth and just knowing that since I've been working into the field that I don't want to deal with that. So these are in no particular order, but we're gonna go ahead and get straight into it. The first thing that I will never do again as a hygienist is working 12-hour shifts. Now, if you have been following my YouTube journey this far, then you'll know that I actually was working at an office where I worked 12-hour shifts. I had been at this particular office for 5.5 years. Now, mind you, when I first started working at this office, we did not do 12-hour shifts. We only had one day where we would work a longer shift. But the company partnered with another company, and then all of a sudden they went to the 12-hour shift thing. This was like maybe a year into me working into this company. So a lot of people might go into it thinking, oh, 3 12-hour shifts, that's great, that's fine. I have the rest of the week to do whatever. When I tell you 12-hour shifts as a hygienist is crazy. And I didn't know how crazy that was until I started realizing the effects it was having on my body. So at one point, I actually had a ganglion cyst on my wrist. It was actually this wrist here. And as you can see, I don't have anything there now, but it actually was right there. And if you don't know what a ganglion cyst is, it's pretty much a pocket of fluid that gathers around a joint, which is a symptom of like arthritis. So like right in this area here, I had this big bubble under my wrist. So it was one day when I was at work. This was actually last year around February. I was at work and my wrist was hurting. And I just suddenly looked down and I see this big bubble on my wrist. And I'm like, what is this? And it was a ganglion cyst. It's a benign cyst. It feels squishy. It's not painful, but it definitely is a sign of arthritis. And at first I was thinking that I was going to have surgery to get it removed. The cyst was there for a while, and after the cyst formed, I started feeling effects of it in my wrist. Like all this area here, when I would clean teeth, my wrist would literally lock up in occasions because I had arthritis. And I know that just came from those 12 hours of constant. And in hygiene, your wrist is constantly like that. You're constantly putting pressure on your hand, and to be doing that for 11 hours, because we did have a 1-hour lunch, but to be doing that for 11 hours is crazy. Hand motion, and then your neck is like this all day. So not only was I getting the effects in my wrist, but I also was getting the effects in my back, my lower back particularly. It's like I'm only 29, but I had like the wrist and the body of like a 65, 70-year-old because I was wearing it and working it so much. So if you want to do 12-hour shifts, kudos to you. But me personally, I will never do another 12-hour shift as a hygienist. It's just way too much on the body. And I love my career. I love what I do. And these hands are magic. So I gotta, reserve my money makers. So no more 12-hour shifts for me. Another thing that I will never do again as a hygienist is working assisted hygiene. Now, if you don't know what assisted hygiene is, it's pretty much seeing 2 columns of patients at once, and your column is staggered. So you're pretty much seeing patients every 30 minutes. So, and I actually used to do this at my previous office every Tuesday for 12 hours. So instead of seeing 11 patients during the day, I was seeing double. So we're talking anywhere between 18 to 20, 23 patients sometimes in a day. That is a lot of patients to see. So with assisted hygiene, it's pretty much a staggered column. So if my first patient is at 7 a.m., the next one's going to be coming at 7:30. Then we have 8, 8:30, 9, 9:30. And it goes that way. So with assisted hygiene, you do have a hygiene assistant. So typically the hygiene assistant will bring the patient back. They'll get the x-rays, get any medical history info or any issues taken, polish the teeth. And then the hygienist, all they have to do is come in and scale. meaning get all the hard buildup off or anything like that, and floss. So assistant hygiene, I will say it can work, but only if and only if you have a great hygiene assistant. I'm talking about somebody that is thorough, somebody that can polish really well. That way you don't have to go back and clean off plaque that they should have already polished. Somebody that takes great x-rays. Me, I'm very picky when it comes to my x-rays. So I'm the type of person, if they're not to my liking, I'm gonna wanna do them myself. And there are some hygiene assistants who are very lazy and they will just take crappy x-rays, barely polish the teeth, so you have all of this plaque left over, and it's too much. It's too much. I'm the type, I just rather get in, do what I need to do on my own, and call it a day. Because the assistant hygiene stuff, it just gets to be a lot, especially when you don't have a great hygiene assistant. And then also with assistant hygiene, you don't really get to do the one-on-one that I feel like you should have with the patient as a hygienist. Everything feels so rushed. And mind you, I have done assistant hygiene and it worked really, really good, but I just rather would not. Like, give me my patients, give me my own column so I can run it how I need to run it. I don't have nobody in my way, and we can have a great appointment. The next thing I'll never do again as a hygienist is working out of comfort or staying at a place out of comfort. And this is something that I had dealt with maybe for the last 2 years being at the office that I was at previously. Mind you, I had a great relationship with the dentist, everybody in the office, great relationship with my patients. It was good for the most part, but I was literally working there as long as I did because I was comfortable. The environment was comfortable, and I knew I was not getting paid what I should be getting paid for the amount of experience that I had. But in my eyes, I was like, you know what? I'm comfortable. It's a great work environment, yada, yada, yada. And then I started doing some research and I started knowing, okay, there's hygienists that are coming into this company who are making the same thing that I am making as a new graduate. Make it make sense. So that is why I definitely say I will never stay at an office for comfort, especially when I know that my worth is not being valued the way it should. And when you work in big corporate companies, a lot of times when it comes to raises and compensation, they have to go through all of these different chains before they can even give you what you deserve. And so, you know, my dentist, he was great. He advocated, he fought for me so much, but it had just came to a point where I was like, I gotta go where the bag is at because it's not residing here and I know my worth. So that goes to show, you know, it's always good to be in an environment that you love, but when you know you're selling yourself short for less than what you should be compensated, oh, it's time to go. And that's one thing that I have learned. I know my worth. I know I am a great hygienist. So I will always, always, always go where I feel like I'm going to be compensated the way I need to. Next thing is working at a husband and wife practice. Now, I personally have never done this before, but I have heard horror stories about people working in offices where it's usually the husband is the dentist and the wife is the office manager. Every hygienist that I have ever talked to has always told me that is a horrible idea. Only just because a lot of times the wife, and even if a lot of times the wife even doesn't even know dentistry. She's never been a dental assistant, never been a hygienist, not even a dentist, barely knows anything about dentistry besides maybe tooth numbers. She might know what a filling and a crown is, but other than that, usually she doesn't know anything about dentistry. And what I've heard a lot of times when you go into these wife and husband practices, the wife tries to take over everything, tries to interject in things that really she shouldn't really be interjecting in. Although, even though she's the practice manager, it's just like, handle the business side of things there. But if you don't know the clinical things, like, baby, you can't tell me nothing. If you don't know clinical, you cannot tell me anything. I'm sorry. Like, I just will not ever put myself in that situation because I'm the type of person, I speak up. I've always been that type of person. I'm going to speak up. So me being in a practice where the wife has so much to say and doesn't let her dentist husband or vice versa handle what he needs to handle, that just would not work with me at all. So that is something that I personally, I'm not doing. So the last thing that I would never personally do as a hygienist is working production pay. Now there are some people who feel like production pay works for them, but for me, I just don't think I could do that. And basically what production pay is that you get paid based off of the services that you provide in that appointment. So a lot of people don't know this, but when you go to a dental office, I mean, like any other place, a dental office is a business. So they gotta get their coin. So with everything, there is a code and there is a dollar amount attached to it. The cleaning, the x-rays, fluoride, any adjunct therapies like arrestin or things like that, they all have a dollar sign put to it. So with production pay, what I've noticed, a lot of hygienists who get production, they're like sales reps. Get this, get this, get this, get this. You need this, you need this, even if the patient really doesn't need it. So I actually was traveling to an office one day, and the guy, there was a guy hygienist there, and he's like, yeah, we get paid production. So I just pretty much try to do SRPs on everybody. Excuse me. So a SRP is a deep cleaning, and that's pretty much the top dollar cleaning that you can get. Not everybody needs SRP, but when you are getting paid based off of production, you are going to try to sell that patient any and everything that you think that they can need. I mean, they might not even need it, but you need to get that money up, and you're looking at getting your paycheck up. So you're going to try to make those sales. So also with production, if your schedule falls apart, how are you getting paid? So I just think that production-based pay is pretty much like being a sales rep. I'm the type, I'm going to give you what you need. I'm going to suggest what you need. We can talk about what you want to do as far as your mouth, but I'm never going to diagnose or tell you that you need something that you don't need just because it's going to help with my production pay. Personally, I think that's unethical, and I'm just not doing it because I take pride in my career and I treat my patients as if they were my family. So I'm going to give you my best and honest care and advice. And that's just that. So I'm not doing the production pay. Now, if you do production pay, comment down below and tell me what it's like for you. Just because personally, I have heard horror stories about production pay. And a lot of hygienists typically don't want to do that. I will take my hourly pay all day, every day over production. But that's it for the video, y'all. We were keeping it short, simple, and sweet. Those are 5 things that I would never do as a hygienist. When you know better, you do better. And I'm not new to this no more. I'm true to this. I have, in May, will be 7 years of experience. So I have grown a lot to learn a lot and know things that I want and that I don't want in my career. So if you are a future hygienist or thinking about going into hygiene, comment down below. Let me know what questions you have. Let me know what types of videos that y'all want to see regarding hygiene. And we're just gonna keep them coming. I'm gonna give y'all the truth all day, every day. So thanks for watching. Peace out.